On this edition of Exploring Idaho, a picture-perfect walk through the flowers of the Camas Prairie. A professional photographer shows us one of his favorite places. Idaho's rivers are full to their banks. We'll take you on a wild rafting ride in a place few people have ever seen. And it's a mammoth discovery in north central Idaho. Archaeologists unearthed 10,000-year-old bones.
Hello and welcome to Exploring Idaho. You know, people who travel the world come to Idaho and still say it's the most beautiful place they've been. Idaho's wildlife and wild scenery are the things pictures are made of. Today we introduce you to a Boise man who has traveled from South America to the Virgin Islands, from Ecuador to Ireland, but his favorite spot remains the Camas Prairie of Idaho. In spring, entire fields turn purple from blooms of the Camas lily. Here among the flowers is where we met up with Steve Sly, who has an eye for the colors of Idaho.
This is really the best time to be here. It's like you're almost in heaven. I mean, the color here, and the sounds and the birds and so on, it's just wonderful.
A walk through the Camas Prairie at sunrise inspires Steve Sly to great works.
Oh, there's a real pretty Camas right here. Whew, gorgeous. Look at the reds over here now. Look how just vibrant red that is. Reds and greens and yellows. Real pretty shot.
The colors of the Camas Prairie are more than just talk for Steve. He shares these images with the world.
This is really pretty right in here.
As a professional outdoor photographer, Steve captures the beauty of Idaho. His only boss is Mother Nature.
This is really some pretty light if the wind would stop. Takes a lot of patience on flowers. You know, you really have to set it up and get your lens square and get your tripod right and get everything just kind of right before you shoot the shot. It really just says Camas and nothing else.
Today, Steve reflects on his start in photography. It was 6 years ago when he quit his desk job with the state and turned what was only a hobby into a full-time job.
It's amazing because I, never was good at drawing or art or anything like that. And it just happened. I thank God for it.
What's happened ever since, the capture of special moments on film. Steve's photographs appear on the covers of magazines, postcards, in brochures, and many have won awards. But for all his travels, Steve says the Camas Prairie remains one of his favorite places, with its purple blooms of Camas lilies, red flowers of sourdock, and its majestic backdrop, the Soldier Mountains.
One of the reasons that I enjoy photography so much is that it's afforded me to see the world a lot more and to photograph the world. But the one thing that is very special, that Idaho is still the most beautiful place that I've photographed.
Steve's work takes patience.
I think you'll find that photographers who have a passion for their work will go to about any length to get the right shot, or the shot they feel is really right, as long as it doesn't interfere with the environment or intrude on the wildlife. You might have to wait the whole day for the right picture, but it's worth it. Neat shot.
It's not always the obvious that makes its way into Steve's viewfinder.
You'd be surprised when you turn your back sometimes. If I'm walking out in a scene like this, I'll kind of look through my camera and kind of just start at one end, and I'll just kind of go all around 360 degrees. And it's surprising the different colors that you get.
And out on the Camas Prairie, you never know what you'll get. Steve Sly says that's the best part.
There's just so many things. There's just reward after reward. From insects to lights to shadow to people to everything. I mean, you just notice things around you, the sky, the colors. I can remember before I had a camera in my hand, I didn't think about those things. And now it's just so wonderful because you really feel and sense and think about everything that's around you all the time. Smell the flowers, as they say. Smell the flowers.
Now that's good advice. Steve's photographs of the Camas Prairie and Idaho sell around the world, and people pay top dollar for them. Now just down the road from the Camas Prairie is another sure sign of the season. Near Hill City, nests full of baby bluebirds keep their parents busy hunting for food. But it's interesting to know that few of those birds would be there if not for the work of one Idaho woman. This back road from Hill City to Glens Ferry is home to a thriving neighborhood. It's prime real estate, a rural setting with little traffic. So you wonder, where are all the houses? Well, they're kind of small, but they have a great view. Welcome to Box 11, Bluebird Lane. Like other American families, Mom and Dad work hard all day. They flit, flutter, and hover above nearby fields in search of juicy bugs. And they have hundreds of neighbors doing the same. You see, Bluebird Lane is more like a giant subdivision on fence posts. 300 houses line this road. The developer says she's not in it for the money.
I just think the bluebird is a nice, friendly little thing.
Elma Goodman paid out of her own pocket to put up the first houses 13 years ago. She hired Boy Scouts to build 25 boxes.
Well, 25 just barely scratched the surface, you know. There weren't homes for very many that way.
So 25 led to 50, which led to 100, and then 300. Which all led to a lot more bluebirds flying around central Idaho.
They need those. They have to have protection. You might have a few with the old woodpecker holes, but you wouldn't have the hundreds that we fledge every year.
So while the baby bluebirds have grown, Elma Goodman has gained attention.
See, the caring citizens maintain Mountain Bluebird Trail.
And with the worst worry on Bluebird Lane being a swallow swiping your nest, these birds will likely continue to thrive, as long as Elma Goodman has anything to do with it.
We need some more made, if you know anybody who likes to do that.
The bluebirds will raise several nests full of babies throughout the summer, and then they'll fly south to Arizona and California for the winter. We'll be back in just a moment with more Exploring Idaho.
A wild ride awaits you on Idaho's rivers. Coming up, a rafting trip worth watching.
Like that are what rafters call white knuckle whitewater, and you will find lots of it in Idaho this year. Our heavy winter snowpack is melting into adventure on Idaho's rivers. Jennifer Eisenhart joins us now with more on the whitewater and the scenery.
Well, Dee, it's a good year, and the South Fork of the Payette is well known as a rafting river, but there's one section of it miles north of the town of Lowman that for many remains undiscovered. Here is where we set off on a rafting trip that is thrilling and beautiful.
It's exciting.
Whoa! The South Fork of the Payette is a wild ride this spring.
Dig it in there on the left. Dig it in, forward. We got it. Nicely done, and stop. Close call there.
It's definitely an adrenaline rush.
High water means thrills.
Woo!
And spills.
Plan on getting wet because there are plenty of rapids.
Forward.
All this water means river guide Beach Huntsgate has a tricky job.
Back paddle, back paddle, back paddle, back paddle, back paddle. Stop.
A jammed tree blocks the boats from safely rafting past.
We're walking this one. Okay, watch yourself. Watch the rope.
Back on the river, Beach says those obstacles, called strainers, can be deadly.
They're very dangerous because only the water is going through. A swimmer or branches or anything gets stuck at the top, called a strainer because it sort of strains everything out of the water, all the driftwood, people, whatever.
Beyond the strainers and the rapids, there's plenty of scenery here. Behind you, like a scene from a photograph, the west side of the Sawtooths are capped in snow. On the banks, wildflowers bloom in several colors. One look up shows you towering pine trees and the bluest Idaho sky.
The scrounging section's quite a well-kept secret up here. We've got to drive a ways to get up here, travel on dirt roads, unimproved roads, and kind of work a little bit to get to it. And a lot of people are satisfied with just pulling off the road and getting on the other stretches.
But here, there's no roads, no signs, no other people, just you and the rush of the river.
It's absolutely beautiful. You've got, the backside of the Sawtooth as the background, and it's just an absolutely pristine, beautiful river. And it's a shame that more people don't actually get to see it.
The Payette rivers have enough variety of sections of river where we can virtually take almost any one.
Conrad Forney owns Headwaters River Company. He says the Granging section of the South Fork is a trip worth taking.
A lot of times you get people that they come on the river and they, like you say, have the apprehension before they get on the river, and then when they get off the river, they're hooked. It just takes a little bit of getting in there and getting used to the paddling and building confidence, and they see that they can do it.
And with plenty of snow left in the mountains, there's more time for you to get out and enjoy this beautiful river.
It's a way to travel down the river and see things the way they were 200-300 years ago, untouched. Just sort of the water and the trees. Nice way to travel.
It is a nice way to travel, and Dee, I'll tell you, it's hard to go back to work after a trip like that.
It would be. Now, how long does it take to raft that particular section of the river?
We did it in one day, but they also have 2- and 3-day trips available for that area.
Looks like fun. Thanks a lot, Jen. We'll be right back with more of Exploring Idaho.
Get ready to dig into a mammoth discovery in north central Idaho.
It's definitely not a job for somebody who's in a hurry.
A tedious job is underway in north central Idaho. It involves hundreds of hours of digging with small trowels, wooden sticks, and paintbrushes. All this in an effort to unearth a 10,000-year-old woolly mammoth. Exploring Idaho's Mike Connaughton has been looking into this for us and joins us now with more on the excavation.
Well, Dee, it's really an exciting and interesting operation. It's actually an excavation of an excavation. You see, this mammoth was first unearthed in 1957. A man named Sig Grove was digging an irrigation line one day when he struck bones, huge bones. And after some more digging, he discovered his find was a woolly mammoth. Today near Kamiah, modern archaeologists are redigging what Sig left behind. What they're finding could tell all of us more about the Idaho of another era. The town of Kamiah is buzzing with excitement.
Most of them are astonished that they got something right here underneath their nose and didn't realize it.
Right at the edge of town, a mammoth dig is attracting visitors from as far away as Canada. Locals call it a mammoth undertaking.
It's awesome.
Archaeologists say it's a scientist's dream.
It's no doubt a bona fide mammoth.
What we have here, this is a tooth, and about this much probably was coming out of the jawbone. The rest of this is root system.
Oh, really?
And this weighs about 10 pounds if you want to lift it.
Oh my gosh.
Here is a tibia, which is your shin bone, which runs, how long it is we're not sure because it was broken off. That's a mammoth shin bone.
This table of bones was first dug up in 1957 by a Kamiah man, but Sig Grove never finished the job. Instead, he buried it again and left a known treasure for archaeologists today.
If you want to follow me this way, I'll show you what we've found so far this year.
Well, we believe this is part of the tusk, and it looks like it's heading back in that direction. And as soon as we get this area cleaned up and through here, then we'll probably head back in that direction, you know, but level by level to sort it out.
For archaeology students from the University of Idaho, this is a great experience. They're getting class credits for the dig, but the work is tedious.
Yeah, it's definitely not a job for somebody who's in a hurry.
Initially, I was using a shovel until I struck some bone. Then it was kind of reduced to a trowel. And then as soon as I got around the bones, I sort of down to this little stick, as well as a paintbrush.
Tom Lockhart has a degree in business, but here, scratching in the dirt, he's found a new interest.
Reading about it is interesting, but the field work is where it happens. And this bone, we're kind of guessing, looks like it's a tibia.
Wherever you see a little flag, that means they found a piece of bone there, okay? There's another bone that runs here, if you can see it, and runs back that way, okay?
This is the vertebrae, part of the vertebrae, and it comes into my unit.
Until now, Jennifer Shue only studied archaeology in textbooks.
It's pretty exciting, yeah. I've never done this, so yeah, I like it. These animals are just, they're extinct now, and so you don't see them roaming around, and it's really exciting to find out, how big they are and what they look like.
Other students are making not-so-ancient discoveries.
That's right. Lots of historical artifacts we found. Actually, a Buick steering wheel and a couple of whiskey flasks.
So the steering wheel and the whiskey flask led to a hypothesis.
Right, that possibly the mammoth died from a drunk driving accident. There's a lesson there.
So we've got some pretty interesting things going on.
Maybe that's how they went extinct. We don't know.
A host of experts might disagree with that hypothesis. These scientists are examining soil and rocks from the site.
See, they're washing out all the mud. And he's going to take out all the rock, and then what he's going to have left is small pieces.
Those pieces will help determine what the land was like when the mammoth was alive.
Whether it died near here, there's some springs on the hillside. It may have, animals that are hurt or dying. Sometimes will go near water. We don't know that. But I think it died pretty close to here.
Archaeology professor Lee Sappington says that question will be answered in the lab.
There's lots of information, it's not just the artifacts that we're after. My interest in this project is what it will tell us about the environment. This is an opportunity, again, to get one of those windows into the past, to get a little, like a snapshot of what life was like. And everybody that has time to get out here, I think, will learn something. You see it on TV, but you don't get to see it right here in Idaho.
ND archaeologists plan to excavate the entire mammoth, and the town plans to put it on display in a brand new museum. But the work and the museum are funded with donations, so it may be a little while before this all comes together.
I understand there's another excavation in Idaho this summer.
That's right, Dee. Next month, another town is scheduled for an excavation on that site, a half dozen or more woolly mammoths. Tolo Lake is about 30 miles south of Kamiah near Grangeville, and last September, workers on a lake rehabilitation project there stumbled across some pretty hefty bones. They turned out to be mammoth bones, so the lake was drained to reveal at least 6, if not more, mammoths. The dig went on for months, but cold winter weather put a stop to the work, so this summer archaeologists are back at it. First by again draining more than 20 million gallons of water from this lake, and when it's empty, they'll start digging again. Indeed, their plans are to excavate one entire mammoth and parts of another.
Now, will people be able to get up close and watch like in Kamiah?
Well, at Tolo Lake, they won't be able to walk right up to the actual dig site, but there will be a viewing area where visitors can see most of the excavation.
Be interesting to watch. Yeah. Mike, thank you very much. With all these ancient finds in our state, it is no wonder Idaho has declared a state fossil. Do you know what it is? Or for that matter, do you know what our state fish is or state flower? We'll have the answers to those questions coming up, plus a phone number you can call to get more information on the stories you're seeing on today's show. Exploring Idaho will be right back. Welcome back. Hopefully we didn't leave you hanging with our Idaho puzzler. Could you name the Idaho state fossil, the state fish, or the state flower? Well, the state fossil is the Hagerman horse. In the 1930s, more than 100 of them were excavated from fossil beds near Hagerman. The state fish is the cutthroat trout. It was recently named by the legislature in 1990. And the state flower is a beautiful one, the white syringa flower. And if you have questions or would like more information on the stories you've seen today, just call this number, 1-800-443-2461. You'll get a copy of the Exploring Idaho field notes. Be sure to ask for show number 126. I'm glad you spent this time exploring Idaho with us. We'll see you again next time.